What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you guys who don't know, my name is Kaylee and I've been traveling in this little mini school bus for a little over a year. I decided to do a minimal makeup tutorial because makeup and skincare and self-care has always been a huge passion of mine, and it's what I went to school for. So I actually do have my esthetician license and I practiced aesthetics for a little over a year before we decided to go on this journey. After working in the industry for about a year, it really opened my eyes to how important it is to take care of yourself, especially your skin. It is the largest organ of the body, and you should take care of it. So this video, I'm gonna kind of mold two together. I'm gonna talk about my skincare routine and I'm gonna talk about my makeup routine. It's kind of funny because just like 4 or 5 years ago, I was obsessed with, products and what they do for the skin and all the different makeups out there, and it's still a huge interest of mine, but I feel like I've realized how important it is to stay as minimal as possible when it comes to your skin. And also too, a lot of it isn't just the products you're using, but how you're treating your body and what you're eating, and if you're staying well hydrated and all of that stuff, getting enough sleep. So there's a lot more to it other than just the products that you use. But for today, that's what I'm gonna kind of dive into. Keep it simple, keep it short.
What are you doing? Why are you always interrupting my videos? Huh?
So to wash my skin, usually now in the mornings, I'll just splash it with water because I make sure that my skin is clean before bed every single night. So I usually just rinse it with water and then I'll put a little bit of witch hazel on with a little like cotton round or something. The witch hazel that I use, I actually just ran out, but it's a brand called Thayer's. So basically what witch hazel does for the skin, it acts as a toner. And what a toner is not only does it remove impurities, it removes makeup, it helps clean the skin, but it also helps with the absorption of the hydration that you're gonna put on afterwards. So moving on to hydration. So the hydration that I use morning and night is actually a 100% argan oil. And I've used this pretty consistently for probably the last year, and I've seen a huge difference in just the skin tone of my skin. The amount of breakouts I'm having is way less. So even though argan oil is an oil, it actually is non-comedogenic, which means that it does not cause breakouts. So it's a perfect oil, it's a perfect hydrator for any type of skin. So let's put some on. So when I put it on, I usually do probably the size of like a dime on my hands, and then I massage it into my skin. So in the summer months, this is usually an adequate amount of moisturizer for me. I tend to have a little bit more oily skin in the summertime and kind of combination skin in the wintertime. So in the wintertime, I do tend to do a little more moisturization on top of the argan oil, which rolls us into the next product. So the next thing I use is shea butter. It's also another one of those products that is non-comedogenic, so it's not going to clog your pores, even though it may feel like that when you're first putting it on because it can be a little bit on the thicker side. But for me, it works amazing in the winter months and it just holds that hydration in my skin all day long. So you really only need a tiny little bit, but probably like that size. Wait for it to focus. So when you're manipulating it with your hands, you really kind of got to break it down, rub your hands together, get it nice and melty and warm, and then you just apply to the skin. And this is another thing that you really want to apply all the way down into your neck as well. Another little added benefit about shea butter that I love is it works as a makeup primer. So it helps your makeup absorb better, it helps it stick, and it helps it last all day long. So now, moving on to the fun stuff, makeup. So the foundation that I use is actually something that I got super hooked on when I was working at the spa that I was working at, and I will literally not use anything else ever again. So the brand is called Maria Ackerberg and the foundation is natural. So this foundation, I love it because it's not super thick, it's very lightweight. It's almost like you're putting on like a BB cream or something. And you can use your hands to apply it. So I'm honestly just applying a very thin layer because I do put powder on top of my foundation to kind of just blend it all together really well. So now I'm gonna put just a little bit of powder on top of the liquid foundation that I did, just to kind of set it in. It gives it a little bit more of like a smoother texture. And the brand that I use is Mineral Fusion. And this one I'm using now is Olive 2. So this matches me really well right now. But in a few months when I start getting tan, I'm probably gonna have to get a darker shade. And I'm running super, super low, so it's time to hurry up. So then I just apply like so. And the thing about applying powder, so you want to move the brush in the direction that the hair grows. So your hair essentially grows this way, down on your skin, on your face. So you want to move in the direction of that. So now moving on to the concealer. So the concealer that I use is also Maria Ackerberg brand. And this, I couldn't tell you what shade it is because it's completely worn off at this point. And the way that I'm gonna show you guys how to apply it today is been a huge, huge game changer in the way that I apply my concealer. I believe actually it was my friend Kayla, props to my girl Kayla, showed me this technique. She worked at Sephora for a few years. And when you put your concealer on, so you want to actually, sorry, I'm totally not meaning to do this. So you want to blend it down and almost make like a triangle. You're blending it underneath your eye, but you're dragging it down a little bit. So you're making a triangle like this. I'm so sorry, I promise you guys I'm not flipping you off. And this way, it doesn't look like you just have this like light crap underneath your eye, and it's like totally obvious that you have concealer, but you're blending it down into your cheekbones just slightly. So you can kind of see that the concealer isn't just directly underneath the eye, but it's blended even into the cheekbone a little bit. And this is also really good if you are someone that likes to wear bronzer and blush, because it's not this huge contrast of just like bronzer and blush and then this concealer underneath the eye, but it kind of all melts and blends together really, really well. So the brand that I use for my bronzer is called Well People, and it's a 100% natural, cruelty-free line. And this bronzer it's Natural Tan is the shade. So I just take a little bit out of the container, and this one here is actually a loose powder. I honestly don't have a preference if it's loose powder, if it's compact powder. I just really, really like the look of this specific one. So then I take the cap and I kind of just like move it around in there, kind of take the excess off. And then when I apply it, I'm applying it right underneath the cheekbone. So the brand that I use for the brushes is actually Eco Tools, and I think I got this in like a kit probably about a year ago around Christmas time. And this one is like the foundation and blush brush. And so obviously I was using the foundation side for the powder that I was putting on earlier, and now I'm actually just using the blush brush for the bronzer. So I'm just putting it on like that, and then I'm gonna take the foundation side and then just blend it in. And another area that I put the bronzer is just on the sides of my forehead, just right on like the hairline, and then the sides of my nose. So moving on to the blush, give a little flavor to our cheeks. This is a brand that I use, Mineral Fusion, so the same brand that I use as my foundation, my powder foundation. So I use the same brush that I put my bronzer on, and I just put a little bit right on top of the cheekbone. And then blend it in right after. I just wanted to brighten it up a little bit. It was looking a little too dark in here. So now we pretty much have the face makeup done. So now we're gonna move on to the eyes. Actually, first, can't forget the most important part, eyebrows. So usually I use the combination of some Burt's Bees Nourishing Mascara, and yes, I use this on my eyebrows, and a little combination of some Physicians Formula eyeshadow. Okay, just had to resituate myself here, make the lighting a little better. So now for my eyebrows. Again, like I said, I use mascara to fill in my eyebrows, which I don't know if that's really the best way, but after trial and error for so many years, this works the best for me. What I do is I take the mascara out and I just lightly put a little bit on the brush. So I'm basically just kind of like gliding along the natural shape of my eyebrow, but also just kind of accentuating this arch right here. So like I naturally have an arch there, but it's just there's not a lot of hair there, so you can't really see. So I'm just kind of accentuating a little bit with the mascara. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of come into the corner here and just very, very slightly. So you don't want to just like friggin' pencil these babies on and make them look like you got these crazy eyebrows. I mean, you can if you want, if that's your style. That's not really my style. So I'm kind of just going underneath and just gliding along the natural shape. And then just so very lightly, lightly, lightly filling them in. All right, so that's pretty much it. So this is like my girl. This brow is my girl. This, not so much. So this one's a little trickier. So I kind of start right at the arch part. I feel like I always mess this one up. All right, so that's it. That's how I do my brows. And I did them a little dark today, I think, than I typically do. But hey, that's all right. I got some fierce brows going on today. All right, so now on to the eyeballs. Typically what I do, so again, this is the shadow palette that I use. So it's Physicians Formula. And I think it's the nude. I think it's the nude. Yeah, it's the nude. And I really, really like this palette because it's cheap as heck. Usually day to day, I don't even wear eyeshadow. If I do, I'll just use like a little bit of like light pink just to kind of brighten my eyes a little bit. And then sometimes like in the corner of my eyes here, I'll do like a light white and just like very slightly dab right there. Oh God. It kind of just like brightens the eye a little bit. So now for the last part of this, but the most important in my opinion, is mascara. It's one of those things that you can wear with a full face of makeup, or you can just have no makeup and just throw a little mascara on and it works great. So I've been using CoverGirl Clump Crusher forever. So I've been using this since high school, so at least 6 or 7 years. And I use a combination of this one and Physicians Formula Organic Wear. And with the combination, I feel like it works really, really well. So there's really not a whole lot to it besides just putting it on your eyelashes, but making sure you find the right brush type for your lash type. So I have very thin but very long eyelashes, so the Clump Crusher works really, really good for that. And then the Physicians Formula just kind of makes them look a little bit thicker. Alright you guys, so that's pretty much all there is to it. Again, I didn't want to make it too complicated. I just wanted to show you what I do when I do a full face of makeup with minimal products. Again, all the products that I used today, I will link in the description below, so if you're curious at all or you want to go get one of those products, you can have access to that. I have a feeling I had a lot of fun today. So I'm probably going to do some more videos like this on the same realm of self-care, skincare, makeup, all that good stuff. Because it's fun and I love it and it's something that I went to school for, and I'd love to share with you guys the things that I've learned along the way. So if you have any questions at all, leave me a comment, send me an email, all that information again in the description below, and I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful week. Much love. Adios.